When the injector is sealed to the glass, it creates an isolated repair environment. But not only is the environment isolated, so is the resin that will be injected into the damage. As air and moisture can adversely affect repair resin, it is critical that these stay separate from the resin. Because of our patented resin isolation system, the repair resin will never come in contact with these contaminants. When the injector handle is turned counterclockwise, the piston raises. This creates a vacuum whereby air begins to leave the damage. Notice, however, that the lower piston seal has yet to disengage from the lower chamber. Also, note that the resin remains isolated and free from contamination. As the handle continues to turn counterclockwise, the lower piston seal disengages and leaves the lower chamber. The high vacuum created will now cause the air in the damage to bypass the lower seal and move into the upper chamber. And the resin remains secure during this entire process. Now the injector is on its full vacuum stage. At this stage, a temperature reading is taken. After heating, this is the temperature that the glass should return to prior to the resin injection stage. Now it's time for moisture to leave the damage. When glass is heated under a vacuum, the moisture in the damage vaporizes and is removed to the upper chamber. Again, since the lower piston seal is above the lower chamber, moisture will pass the lower piston seal and move into the upper chamber. When the glass reaches its optimal temperature, all moisture is removed from the damage and is now in the upper chamber. Now the glass is allowed to cool to its preheat temperature reading. The moisture and air remain in the upper chamber because of vacuum. Once all air and moisture are completely removed from the damage, it is now time to inject resin. At this point, the handle is turned clockwise. This allows the lower piston seal to move back into the lower chamber. This prevents the air and moisture that was just removed from re-entering the lower chamber, keeping it from re-entering the damage. Also at this time, the upper seal does something amazing. Because of the pressure now being exerted below, the edges of this seal collapse inward, allowing the moisture and air previously removed from the damage to escape to the surface. As the handle continues to turn clockwise, the piston moves toward the outer seal. As the resin piston contacts the outer seal, the resin piston is forced up into the resin chamber, creating pressure. The resin is forced out through the resin piston hole and into the damage. Since the air and moisture were completely removed from the damage, the resin is injected into a relatively pristine environment. There is no air and no moisture that can inhibit the flow and cure of the resin. Because of the resin isolation system, this entire process ensures that the damage is completely filled with uncontaminated resin. Resin that has not been contaminated with air and moisture ensures a stronger, longer lasting, less visible repair.